Hey guys, welcome to the WAG Station. I'm your OC outdated Gen Z himself, and this is it. I'm finally going to be talking about Sonic 3, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games for Nintendo DS. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 3. What the fuck? Holy crap, there's a Sega Genesis version? I sure hope that one's better. This is Sonic the Hedgehog 3. It released in February of 1994. And, after when we're done with the title screen, wow, look at this. We can finally save our game. And there's multiple save slots too. Cool. And after when we're done choosing our save file, there's an opening cutscene. Basically, this cutscene just references that the good ending of Sonic 2 was the true ending, because Sonic jumps off of Tails' plane, turns into Super Sonic, until Sonic loses all of his Chaos Emeralds to Knuckles' fist. By the way, this was the first game to introduce Knuckles, one of my personal favorite Sonic characters. But yeah, the story here is, after when Sonic defeated Robotnik in Sonic 2, the Death Egg came crashing down to Angel Island, which was a floating island, and Knuckles found Robotnik. Robotnik tricked Knuckles, saying that Sonic and Tails was the bad guy, and that's why Knuckles is throwing fists at Sonic to get the Chaos Emeralds. But there you go. There's the story of Sonic 3. Gameplay-wise, it's great. This game introduced a new move too, the Insta Shield. You just press the jump button again when you're already in the air, and then Sonic does this weird whoosh thingy for a second. And it gives you a frame of invincibility, and it gives you a bigger hitbox to defeat enemies. So it's pretty useful when it's used in the right spots. And did you know that in this game, there's different shields? That's so cool! No longer just the lame blue shields from Sonic 1 to CD. Instead, there's the 3 elements. That's cool. You get the fire shield, which makes you invincible to fire, and when you press jump in the air as Sonic, you get boosted forward in the air, and it defeats enemies, and it also breaks certain things too. That's cool. And then you got the water shield, which stops you from drowning in water, and it does this little bouncing ability thing. That's kinda cool. I'm more into the water shield for the not being able to drown thing. I think the little higher bounce is a little bit lame. But then, we got the electric shield, which is a shield that lets you magnet rings towards you, so you can collect them more easily. And you also get a double jump if you play as Sonic with this shield. By the way, as you can tell, Sonic can only use the true special abilities of these shields. Another thing that Sonic 3 introduces is that the axe mixed in with each other, which means finally you don't have to see the game fade out, then fade back in, and then show the title cards again. Now, immediately after when you beat an act, you just go straight into the next one, nice and smoothly. And plus, before you experience that, there's bosses in the first act of each stage now. That's cool! But yeah, let's check out the zones. First, we got Angel Island. Pretty relaxing at first. It's your typical opening Sonic level, but this is the first Sonic opening stage to have water. Which, I mean, sure. And then Angel Island just sets on fire by this bombing that happens, and then now it's an absolute hell. Next, we got Hyder-O-Kity. After when Knuckles explodes this bridge on you, you fall into this zone. By the way, this game also introduces transitions into different zones. That's also really cool. There's so many little details in this game that just makes the experience so good. But anyways, this water level is actually pretty fun. It's pretty fast-paced, unlike most water levels. Plus, you're gonna have more of a hard time dying in this water level compared to any other water level in previous Sonic games. And the bosses here are pretty fun, too. You got your whatever this thing is, and then you got Robotnik sucking up water with some vacuum thingy-bobob. Next, Marble Garden Zone. By the way, if you're one of those people who calls Marble Zone from Sonic 1 Marble Garden, there's going to be a pipe bomb sent to your house by me personally. this zone is just okay. The music is pretty banger, but the entire game soundtrack is really good. So it's got nothing really saving it. It's got some pretty cool gimmicks, but that's really about it. Next we got Carnival Night Zone, also known as the introduction to my worst fear next to Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels and Metropolis Zone appearing behind my back, the Barrel of Doom. But yeah, cool zone. The Robotnik boss kind of blows though. It's just kind of lame and annoying. Next we got Ice Cap, my favorite zone in Sonic 3. If this isn't your favorite zone, I'll listen to you, but I sure won't take you seriously. Epic intro into this zone, by the way. You just start in the snowboarding section, which is just so cool. And then the rest is just platforming stuff. But Act 2 is pretty fast-paced and fun. And then we got Launch Base. This is when Robotnik is rebuilding the Death Egg and he's gonna relaunch it to space. And we need to stop it. Okay, sure. This level's just pretty annoying design-wise. I don't really like it that much in this game. But yeah. Then, we got this weird boss thing. Then Act 2 has more water again. And then we end up to this boss. Then this boss. And then this boss. And then, after that, the game is just over? Well, that was pretty lame. Well, since there's nothing else here, I might as well talk about the one and only bonus stage that this game has. If you collect a certain amount of rings past a checkpoint, these little sparkly star thingies appear around it, and then when you jump into it, it's kind of like the Sonic 2 special stages. And what is this bonus stage? It's a gumball machine that gives you extra lives or different elemental shields. That's about it. But then, we got the actual special stages, which lets you collect the Chaos Emeralds. Basically, in order to access them, you have to find these giant rings that are hidden around all the stages. There's multiple per stage, so it's technically possible to get all the Chaos Emeralds pretty early into the game. Now, how do these special stages play out? All you have to do is collect blue spheres. And the blue spheres turn into red spheres, and the red spheres kick you out of the special stage if you touch them. And if you make an outline out of certain blue sphere squares, let's say, they become rings. And then that's how you're able to get a perfect score. But that isn't required. After when you just collect all the blue spheres, you get the Chaos Emerald. Thus, that lets you turn into Super Sonic. And once again in this game, it's a waste for Tails to get the Chaos Emeralds because he doesn't get anything from it. Well, with that was Sonic the Hedgehog 3. It's really, really good. But it's also really, really incomplete. If only that there was a second part to this game. The second part has to be better! There's Knuckles! This is Sonic and Knuckles. The long-lost second part to Sonic 3 that only took 8 extra months to develop. So, as the game implies from the title, you get to play as Sonic or Knuckles. And the game plays the exact same for Sonic. But now you have no option to have Tails with you. But other than that, everything's ported over from Sonic 3. Now for Knuckles, he's able to glide, climb walls, and punch through walls that Sonic can't get through, even if he tries to spin dash. But Knuckles has a lower jump height, and also has harder bosses. So basically, with this in mind, Knuckles has his own entire campaign that's completely different to Sonic. He's also not able to go to some of the zones that Sonic can access, which I'll talk about in a little bit here. But yeah, anyways, let's check out the zones! First we got Mushroom Hill Zone. It's basically just another starter course, but slightly harder because it's supposed to be a continuation of Sonic 3. But yeah, it's okay. It's kind of fun, but it just is an excuse to get a new starter course, just in case if there's people who only ever bought Sonic and Knuckles on its own. So it's just kind of filler. Now the seasons changing in Act 2 is pretty cool, not gonna lie though. But the boss fight is lame. Next we got Flying Battery Zone. This zone is overrated. I don't really like it that much. Sandopolis Zone. Lava Reef Zone. This is my favorite zone in Sonic & Knuckles. Banger music, pretty fast paced. Act 2 is pretty cool. The lava cools down after the boss, and then the stage is just kind of crystally everywhere. Now the boss here in Act 2 is pretty cool, but it just drags on for too long. Did it really need to have 14 hits instead of just the usual 8? Plus, you can't even hit it normally, you have to wait for Robotnik to hit himself with his own spike balls in this slope. And it's just a little bit too slow. If it was a little bit faster, and the boss fight was only 8 hits instead of 14, it would have been a pretty fun boss. Hidden Palace Zone, a reference to the scrapped Sonic 2 stage. It's just supposed to be a zone that's a battlefield for your fight against Knuckles. So then Knuckles can finally realize that Robotnik was the bad guy this entire time. But it just kind of blows that Hidden Palace doesn't have its own original music track, it just shares it with Lava Reef Zone Act 2. Next we got Sky Sanctuary Zone. This one's fun, really fast paced. You get a reference to the Sonic 1 Green Hill Zone fight, and then the Sonic 2 Metropolis Zone fight. That's pretty cool. And then when you beat all of those reference bosses, you get to fight Mecha Sonic on its own. And then if you're playing as Knuckles, Sky Sanctuary is literally just a battlefield to go against Mecha Sonic. And plus, the Mecha Sonic fight is pretty cool for Knuckles. The Mecha Sonic is able to absorb the Master Emerald's energy and then becomes a Super Mecha Sonic thing. That's actually really freaking cool. But continuing as Sonic here, you get to experience the Death Egg Zone, which has 2 acts compared to Sonic 2. And it's just okay. Act 1 boss is kind of annoying. In Act 2, you fight this boss, then you fight this boss, then when you get on the Chaos Emeralds you get a Super Sonic boss, which is called the Doomsday Zone. But yeah, if you're playing Sonic 3 on its own, it's just kind of a waste to get the Chaos Emeralds. But if you're playing Sonic & Knuckles on its own, get the Chaos Emeralds then. And there you go! The Sonic 3 saga is over. Except when it comes to the bonus stages that I haven't mentioned that are exclusive to Sonic & Knuckles. And yeah, before you ask, you access these bonus stages the same way as Sonic 3. Get a certain amount of rings past a checkpoint, go into the little star portal thing. Same as the actual special stages. You access them by finding giant rings around stages. But anyways, there's no more Gumball Machine here, but there's this Sonic 1 special stage reference, which also comes with the Casino Night gambling thing in the middle of the entire stage. And this one's just okay. And then we got another bonus stage, which is just whatever the heck this is. But there you go, now the Sonic 3 saga is over. Well, with that was Sonic & Knuckles. On its own, it's pretty lame. Sure, you get to play as Knuckles, but if you didn't play Sonic 3 beforehand, it's pretty lame, unless if you're a big fan of Flying Battery Zone. But that's where the special feature of Sonic & Knuckles comes in. Lock-on technology. You open up the top of Sonic & Knuckles and it's able to take data from another cartridge. And one of those cartridges you can use is Sonic 3. Oh yeah, I can finally experience Sonic 3 the way it's supposed to be. And it's just great. The additions that this adds with both of these games being connected to each other is just so freaking good. Now the obvious thing that happens here right away is that Knuckles can finally go through the first half of Sonic 3. Just like Sonic & Knuckles, harder bosses, and he accesses different areas of the game. And as well, Tails can finally access the Sonic & Knuckles half of Sonic 3, along with Sonic and Tails paired up. And you can now access all of the checkpoint bonus stages, no matter which part of the game you're in. And as well, you get 2 extra save slots. It's the normal save slots from Sonic 3, plus my theory is that choosing between Sonic and Knuckles in Sonic & Knuckles is the remainder of an extra 2 save slots, but it doesn't save in Sonic & Knuckles on its own, so it's just kind of weird. And now, all the Blue Sphere special stages from both Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles are able to be accessed in one game. How it works is, after Launch Base Zone, if you're playing as Sonic or Tails, you see Knuckles press this button, and then a wall comes down, and then you access these new special stages, which is just literally Sonic and Knuckles special stages. But this is how you get the Super Emeralds, which then lets you have Hypersonic and Super Tails. And then if you're playing as Knuckles, Hyper Knuckles. But my only given complaint here is, why did you remove the Big Arms boss fight from the Sonic campaign and launch base sound? Why? But yeah, other than that, this is the greatest way to play Sonic 3, having both of the cartridges connected together. Time to talk about this fucker. So at first, the Sonic Origins version of Sonic 3 Knuckles is actually pretty good. The team making this remaster did a great job with it. There's a lot more new details, which is always appreciated. And if you're playing as Sonic, he has the drop dash, plus they added their own original drop dash animation, unlike every other game in this entire collection. And as well, there's tons of new cheat codes. But the big problem with it is the crappy soundtrack for it. Not only is all the songs compressed to all hell, but Carnival Night, Ice Cap, and Launch Base Zone has been done dirty. Sure, yes, it was pretty obvious that we weren't able to get the Michael Jackson soundtrack back, which absolutely blows. But they clearly had access to the prototype versions because the competition menu, the Sonic 3 credits, and the unused theme was able to be grabbed from this little prototype. But why did they have to remake Carnival Night Ice Cap Launch Base? And why did they have to make it sound like absolute shit? They based it more off the Sonic and Knuckles collection for PC, and that one sounded okay-ish for old PC standards. If they are able to get the whatever rights to the Sonic 3 complete ROM hack, that would be great, because whoever made that did a great job with it. But instead, I think you got Jutsunoi, I believe, absolutely fucking up on Genesis sound chip stuff again, except he did really well in the original Sonic 3. And he also does pretty good with his guitar stuff. I love his guitar stuff. Crush 40's fire. But I'm getting off topic here. How did you screw up songs you already composed before? Why didn't you just re-grab them from the prototype? You clearly had access to it, buddy. And if you like these versions of Carnival Night Ice Cap and Launch Base, then you should probably get your ears checked because you might have defective ears.
Where's that horrible noise coming from? Oh, this thing.
Well, with that was Sonic 3 Knuckles. The complete experience. The best experience. But Sonic and Knuckles can also lock on to both Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. Well, first here, if you lock Sonic and Knuckles onto Sonic 1, you're able to go into this nameless game. And at the top of the screen, it scrolls nothing but no way, no way, no way, no way. But if you press all the face buttons at once, you go into this other menu that says Get Blue Spheres, and now you just get to play a bunch of randomly generated Blue Sphere special stages. There is a total of 134,217,728 Blue Sphere special stages. A lot of content for you. Now, to get through the special stages a little bit faster, all you have to do is just get perfect scores. And it's pretty funny that this game got a name later on in its life. Like in the Sonic and Knuckles collection on PC, it became Special Stage Mode. And then in Sonic Mega Collection, it became Blue Sphere. And then now with Sonic Mania and Sonic Origins, it became Blue Spheres. I personally think that Blue Sphere is the best name for it. Having one less of the letter S, just perfection, for real. And next, when you lock Sonic and Knuckles onto Sonic 2, you get to play the entirety of Sonic 2 as Knuckles. Like, actually, just Knuckles with his exact moveset. It's not a reskin of Sonic. You get to play around with his gliding, his wall climbing, all in Sonic 2. Now, because he has a lower jump, and plus he's able to use his wall climbing and gliding abilities, there's been some altering and level design, and plus new secrets as well. So the fact that they put that much effort into just a random side thing that you can do for the original Genesis cartridges, it's just really cool. That's everything that Sonic 3 Knuckles has to offer. There is so much stuff you can do. Sure, yes, it requires to open up the Sonic and Knuckles cartridge and add more cartridges, but that's still a lot of stuff. They didn't have to go the extra mile to just allow Sonic and Knuckles to lock on with Sonic 2 and Sonic 1. They could have just said, oh, it only locks on with Sonic 3. Now you can just play the full experience of Sonic 3 in all of its glory. But no. Wow. But, with that, let's see what we got in this series next! No. It can't be. No. No!